The 2025 Democratic primary for New York City mayor has become one of the most intense and defining political battles the five boroughs have seen in a generation. With early voting already underway, the city finds itself at a crossroads, forced to choose between two vastly different visions for its future. On one side stands former Governor Andrew Cuomo, a seasoned and powerful political figure attempting a dramatic comeback. He represents an older guard, promising stability and experienced leadership. On the other side is Assemblymember Zohran Mamdani, a young, energetic democratic socialist who embodies a new, progressive movement eager to reshape the city from the ground up. This contest is far more than a simple election. It is a clash of ideologies, generations, and ideas about what New York City should be. The tension crackling across the city is almost palpable, felt in subway conversations, neighborhood diners, and heated online debates. Andrew Cuomo, a name synonymous with New York politics for decades, is campaigning on a message of strength and a return to order. He points to his long tenure as governor as proof that he alone has the know-how to manage a city of this size and complexity. In stark contrast, Zohran Mamdani, at just 33 years old, speaks a language of radical change and community empowerment. He argues that the old ways have failed too many New Yorkers, and that it is time for a fresh approach to intractable problems like housing, public safety, and inequality. This fundamental disagreement sets the stage for a dramatic showdown. This primary is not just a local affair, it reflects a larger national struggle within the Democratic Party. The battle lines are clearly drawn between the establishment wing, represented by Cuomo, and the ascendant progressive wing, championed by Mamdani. Cuomo's supporters see him as the only candidate tough enough to handle the city's challenges, while Mamdani's base sees him as a once-in-a-generation opportunity to dismantle systems they believe are fundamentally unjust. The stakes feel incredibly high for both sides, with each believing the soul of the city hangs in the balance. The outcome will send a powerful message about the political direction of America's largest city and the future of the Democratic Party itself. The dynamic is further complicated by the other candidates in the race, including City Council Speaker Adrian Adams and City Comptroller Brad Lander, who are vying for their own share of the vote. However, the political gravity has unmistakably centered on the two poles, Cuomo and Mamdani. They have become the main rivals, capturing the lion's share of media attention and defining the terms of the debate. Their contest has sucked the air out of the rest of the field, transforming the primary into a referendum on their competing philosophies. For voters heading to the polls between now and June 24th, the choice is stark, and the consequences for all New Yorkers will be profound and long-lasting. This election has been defined not just by the candidates, but by the colossal influence of outside money. A pro-Cuomo super PAC, ominously named Fix the City, has shattered all previous spending records for a New York City election. Having raised a staggering $18.5 million, the PAC has unleashed a torrent of advertising across the city's airwaves, subways, and mailboxes. This flood of cash, unprecedented in its scale, is designed to do one thing: dismantle the candidacy of Zohran Mamdani. The spending has fundamentally altered the landscape of the race, raising serious questions about the role of big money in shaping our democratic process and whether a grassroots campaign can withstand such a well-funded onslaught. The source of this funding has drawn intense scrutiny and criticism. A significant portion of the money flowing into Fix the City comes from wealthy donors, including some who have previously supported Donald Trump. In a stunning, late-breaking development, former Mayor Mike Bloomberg contributed a massive $5 million to the effort, signaling a powerful alliance of the city's old guard against the progressive insurgency. This coalition of real estate interests and financial titans is betting heavily on Cuomo to protect their vision of New York. The sheer volume of their spending has made it nearly impossible for any New Yorker to avoid the PAC's message, which relentlessly paints Mamdani as a dangerous and radical figure. The negative ads funded by Fix the City have been aggressive and, according to Mamdani's campaign, deeply misleading. One prominent television spot claims that Mamdani wants to move homeless people into subway stations. In reality, his proposal involves converting vacant retail spaces within stations into outreach hubs staffed by medical professionals, not turning platforms into shelters. Another line of attack focuses on Mamdani's past support for the defund the police movement, using old tweets to portray him as an extremist on public safety. The Mamdani campaign has also pointed out that the ads often feature him in a kurta, a traditional South Asian garment, suggesting a deliberate and racialized attempt to other him in the eyes of voters. The influence of Fix the City has become so intertwined with the Cuomo campaign that it has led to legal trouble. The New York City Campaign Finance Board recently fined Cuomo's campaign over $750,000 for illegally coordinating with the super PAC on a broadcast advertisement. While campaigns are legally barred from working directly with these independent expenditure groups, the ruling suggests that the line was crossed. This penalty has only added fuel to the fire, with Mamdani's supporters arguing that it is proof of a corrupt alliance between Cuomo and his wealthy backers. The fine underscores the central tension of the race, a fight between organized money and organized people. At the heart of Andrew Cuomo's comeback bid is a straightforward and powerful message: experience matters. He constantly contrasts his decades in public office, including 3 terms as governor, with Zoran Mamdani's relatively short tenure in the state assembly. Cuomo's campaign argues that running New York City is not a job for a novice, and that in these uncertain times, the city cannot afford on-the-job training. He calls the idea of an inexperienced mayor reckless and dangerous, a line he repeats at every campaign stop. This argument is designed to appeal to voters who are anxious about public safety and the economy, positioning Cuomo as a steady hand capable of navigating the city through any crisis. To bolster his case, Cuomo has surrounded himself with established figures from the city's political landscape, most notably the Reverend Al Sharpton. The endorsement from Sharpton and other respected black leaders provides Cuomo with crucial credibility, particularly among older black voters who are a key Democratic constituency. These endorsements are meant to counter the narrative of Cuomo as a disgraced politician, recasting him as a tested leader who understands the needs of all of New York's communities. By standing with figures like Sharpton, Cuomo projects an image of authority and deep-rooted connection to the city's power structures, reinforcing his core message that he is the only candidate prepared for the immense challenges of the mayoralty. In response, Zoran Mamdani and his allies have worked tirelessly to turn Cuomo's experience into a liability. They argue that his long record is not one of success, but of failure and scandal. Mamdani frequently brings up media group news footage of Andrew Cuomo resigning, press conference on sexual harassment allegations at its stock at a distribute_equally, Cuomo's resignation in disgrace amid multiple sexual harassment allegations, his administration's handling of the COVID-19 crisis in nursing homes, and his policies that cut Medicaid and diverted funds from the MTA. Mamdani frames Cuomo's experience as a history of serving powerful special interests at the expense of ordinary New Yorkers. His campaign asks voters a simple question: why would the city trust a leader who was forced to leave his last job in shame? On the issue of public safety, the divide is just as stark. While Cuomo promises to be tough on crime and fully support the NYPD, Mamdani has had to clarify his position in the face of relentless attacks. During this campaign, he has explicitly stated he will not defund the police and has pledged to maintain the department's current headcount. However, his vision for safety is broader. He proposes creating a new Department of Community Safety, which would employ trained professionals to respond to non-criminal emergencies, such as media group mental health crisis workers, assisting person in distress, social workers talking to people on city streets at its stock at a distribute_equally, mental health crises, and substance abuse issues. This, he argues, would free up police officers to focus on violent crime while providing more effective and compassionate responses to problems that do not require a badge and a gun. The 2025 primary is not just about who voters pick first, it is also about who they pick second, third, and fourth. The city's ranked choice voting system has introduced a layer of strategic complexity that is reshaping the final days of the campaign. Under this system, if no candidate secures more than 50% of first-choice votes, the candidate with the fewest votes is eliminated, and their voters' second choices are redistributed. This process continues until one candidate reaches a majority. This has led to the formation of strategic alliances as candidates realize that defeating a common opponent is as important as winning first-place votes. It is a multi-dimensional chess match where every ranking matters. A pivotal moment in this strategic game came on June 13th, just as early voting began. Zoran Mamdani and City Comptroller Brad Lander, another progressive in the race, held a joint press conference to announce a cross-endorsement. They urged their supporters to rank Mamdani first and Lander second, or vice versa, in a clear and coordinated effort to consolidate the progressive vote and block Andrew Cuomo from reaching the 50% threshold. This alliance is a direct response to Cuomo's polling lead, representing a calculated gamble that their combined second-choice votes will be enough to overtake the former governor in the final rounds of counting. It is a powerful demonstration of how ranked-choice voting can foster cooperation among rivals. This Mamdani-Lander partnership, however, was not without controversy. Reverend Al Sharpton immediately criticized the move, publicly questioning why Mamdani, a candidate of color, would endorse Brad Lander, a white man, over City Council Speaker Adrienne Adams, a black woman who is also in the race. This critique highlighted the delicate racial and political dynamics at play, suggesting the alliance could alienate some black voters. Sources later revealed that the Mamdani campaign had tried for weeks to secure a similar cross-endorsement deal with Speaker Adams, but no agreement was reached. This behind-the-scenes maneuvering shows the high-stakes negotiations that ranked-choice voting encourages among campaigns. Ultimately, this election is a profound test for New York City. It asks voters to decide what kind of leadership they want and what kind of future they believe in. Will they opt for the perceived safety and experience offered by a familiar, if controversial, figure like Andrew Cuomo? Or will they embrace the call for fundamental change championed by a new generation of leaders like Zoran Mamdani? The massive spending by super PACs, the strategic alliances born from ranked choice voting, and the deep divisions over safety and governance all culminate in this one critical choice. The outcome will not only determine the next mayor, but will also chart the course for the city for years to come.